Today we're making a bone-in pork butt on the PitBoss. All right, let's get this guy fired up to 250 degrees. All right, at 250, it's 71 in there now, and I just heard the pellets start dropping. So today we have a 6 3/4 pound bone-in pork butt. You can get these at your local grocery store. By us, it's always a Smithfield brand, but whatever brand they are, these are really convenient. And the thing is, you can go to like a meat supply place or a restaurant supply place, and you can buy these things that are almost 20 pounds. This is perfect. This is enough for a good meal today and leftovers and meals throughout the week. All right, let's talk about the items we're going to use. I'm not always a fan of doing this, but I'm gonna actually use yellow mustard to create a sticky surface on the top so all of our seasonings stick into it. I've got a nice tequila lime seasoning that we're going to use, a little bit of sea salt. Yes, accent, that's MSG. I know you're not supposed to use that, but man, oh man, does it enhance flavor. And I've got a little bit of this peppered habanero mix. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit on this thing when we're done, just for some heat. By the way, pork butt. Kids, if you're listening to this, not really butt, it's actually the shoulder, but that's what they call it. So we actually opened up the pork butt, we rinsed it all off with cold water, kind of wiping it with our hands, and then I patted it dry with a paper towel, and I let it sit here in the air for probably about 10 minutes, just enough time to start to get a little bit more close to room temperature. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the bottom side. Now I leave a fat cap on here. You can see it's white. That will peel off when we're all done, but when you put it on the smoker, it helps prevent the bottom from getting too hot or scorching the meat. Real easy to just pull this off as a layer and toss it when you're done. I decided to use the yellow mustard as my binder, mainly because I'm almost out of this yellow mustard. So the thought was I'll use up the rest of it, but it's gonna make that wonderful sound, I'm sure, as we do this. All right, we're just gonna rub this on here. Now I know you might be thinking, oh, mustard, that doesn't sound good. You won't taste this at all. It is strictly there as a binder only. And it just does enough to make the surface of the meat a little bit sticky, and our seasoning will stick to it better. I'm not doing much on here. I probably have a tablespoon and a half, and you can see that I'm using the rest of it, so I don't even care if I get pork juice on the outside of that jar. I'm gonna throw this thing away in a few minutes anyway. It's going to be empty. We've got our binder on. I'm gonna clean my hands here before we do the next step. Got some smoke rolling over here now. Nice. Closing this over because I don't want all that white smoke billowing into the house. We now have our meat here, and we are going to go ahead and season it. Now, I like to start with the MSG. I don't think there's any right or wrong here. I'm not doing a whole lot of this, but just enough to get a little bit of that flavor enhancer on there. I'm now going to do just a bit of sea salt. Again, I'm not doing a whole lot. Just a little bit of this. I want to get more of the tequila lime on here instead. Now, I said the temperature is nice, but it also means there's a lot of humidity, which means seasonings always want to clump together. By the way, any pork seasoning that typically has a little bit of brown sugar in it will really clump worse than almost any other kind. Now, I want to put this on fairly thick. I'm looking to almost build up a bit of a crust when we first smoke this. So I got one side going. I'm going to get this other side nice and doused with this. And now we're going to go in just a little bit of this peppered habanero. Ooh. No lid on this one. Let's Now I don't have a lot of people that like a ton of spice, so I'm just going to do a little bit of this on here. What you want to do is let this dry seasoning sit on here for about 6 to 12 minutes or so, something like that. Essentially, you're waiting for the dry powder to sort of absorb the moisture, and it looks like it's coated in mud. That's exactly what you want. So I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes while I clean up my hands and put away some of these seasonings before we put it on the smoker. That is looking nice and muddy, so we'll go ahead and get this put right on. Now, I like to just do it on a rack about midway up. I'm going to put a probe into it. I'm going to put the probe kind of in a thicker part of this. It's always fun to try to do it where it's not in the bone. I think that's pretty good. Now we're just going to take this guy, put it right up in the center. I'm going to go ahead and connect my probe over here. I'll close this guy down. All right, I'll take this in, get it cleaned up. We'll see you guys back here whenever that thing gets up to about 160 to 175 degrees. That's about the time we're gonna take it out. We're gonna put it into a pan, we're gonna add a little bit of braising liquid, and we're gonna let that thing just turn unbelievably tender. We'll tell you how long it's been when we're done, because we cook by temperature, not by time. See you in a while. All right, so I just got an alarm on my phone about 10 or 15 minutes ago that we've reached our temperature of 165. I was out doing some stuff in the yard, so I just waited a couple more minutes to finish up what I was doing. So we're right now sitting at 172 degrees. That's perfectly fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it out of the smoker. We're gonna put it in a container, cover it with foil, add some braising liquid. We're gonna put it back in until it cooks right to 205 degrees. That's gonna be perfect for pulled pork, and we'll do the old test and see if the bone comes out clean. All right, let's get this guy opened up. Oh, that looks good. Already seeing some pullback on the bone right over here. We'll just pick this guy up, put it right in our little deal here. Yeah, see what I mean? You can see that bone starting to pull back a little bit. But here's the thing. I am a Texan at heart. So I like to just use a little Dr. Pepper as a braising liquid. You can always do all kinds of stuff in here. We don't want a whole lot. Just enough so that this gets hot, that moisture kind of rolls up into the meat. So we're putting just maybe 1/4 of an inch in there. Now this is entirely up to you if you want to do browning seasoning. This is a real common thing in things like oxtail and whatnot. It's essentially a toasted brown sugar and butter sort of mix that gets this nice and dark. I'm just going to sort of slosh this around a little bit in that just to mix up that browning sauce with the Dr. Pepper. And you caught me, I said Dr. Pepper, but it's actually just Dr. Check. It's a knockoff brand of Dr. Pepper, which is fine, given that we're just braising pork in it. All right, I've got my foil here. And what I want to do is make this a little bit like a pouch, a little tent. So I'm not going to get this too tight down on the meat. I want to sort of pouch it up a little bit. Ideally, if it's not touching the meat, that's even better, but you want to seal it all the way around the edge here. And that's mainly so that your liquid stays inside of it, which is important. That is what's going to make this unbelievably tender. Now, where I'm running my probe through here, the probe wire, I'm just going to give it a little tear in this so I can seal all the way around that wire. There you go. And you can see here, I just put a small tear in it, sealed around it, and that will be good to go back into the smoker. Let's pop it back in until we hit 203 to 207 or 8 degrees. I'm shooting for 205, thereabout. All right, now we're just gonna go ahead and put this right back in, and I'm gonna leave it at 250 degrees. That's just fine for me. Pop that guy in there. Close our lid. We'll just get this popped right back into the probe. Now, we're gonna set our alarm for 202 degrees, so by the time I get back out here, we're pulling it out at just the right time. All right, I had my temperature probe set to 203 degrees. It just went off a couple minutes ago. It's now at 205. I'm gonna pull this pork roast out. We'll take a look at how it looks. What the hell? All right, as you can see on the screen, I had set the probe to notify me at 203 degrees. It did, it's at 205. And if I actually go to the cooking analytics, we can sort of see exactly what this temperature has done as we've gone across time here. So there you go. We've had it set at 225 degrees and our probe is climbing. All good stuff. Let's go ahead and get a cutting board. We'll pull this out. We'll show you what it looks like. I'm gonna come over here and unhook our probe. Go ahead and get our gloves on. Open this guy up. Ooh, nice and warm. Take this over and show you what it looks like. All right, you want me to open it up so you can see? So don't open it up yet. All right, let's get the camera in. All right, here we go. Woohoo! Looks good. I'm gonna pull this probe out of here. And you know, the test on one of these is always how easy does the bone come out of here. So let's give this a shot. Over here. Yeah, right here. Hey, do me a favor. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell notification so you get notified of new videos. Thanks. Also trying to make sure this liquid doesn't hit me. Whew. All right, so we just pulled the bone out. It came out unbelievably clean. We did a little taste test with me and Swabby, and then I realized that the little red light wasn't on because I ran out of space on the memory card. So, yes, I have a couple little chunks here. We cut a little bit of this, but it looks really, really good. Unbelievably tender. The bone came out nice and clean. You take a piece of this, you can see, I don't know, maybe about a ½ inch smoke ring. Obviously not very far in it, but the flavor is really good, especially with a little bit of that habanero sauce on it, or seasoning, I mean. Dip it in a little bit of that fluid. Just delicious. And it's tender as can be. If I were to just reach in here and grab a piece and pull, you can see it just comes right up. It's just tender as can be. That is good. Ready to try it again?
Yes.
I told her that the video didn't work, and she said, good, I get to have more. There's that piece, and there's that piece. They're cool off. I let them sit here for a moment now. And dip it in some of the sauce if you want. You like? Yeah?
I still like it.
I know, but now they know.
That is so smoky.
You like it?
Yeah.
You know what I basted it in? The liquid? Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper?
Yep.
You mean Dr. Check?
Well, yeah, it was that Czech Dr. Thunder or whatever, but, you know.
It's Dr. Check.
If you're just going to roast pork in it, what the heck? You get the cheap one. Here, I'll use this like a little mop and give you some sauce on there. Those are all really good. That's a little fatty piece right there. There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. That's really good.
That was good. Bye, y'all. Safe and happy smoking or grilling.